like Dagwood needs Blondie and Hagar stole Helga. Like Kathy loves chocolate and the Lockhorns need couples therapy. I listen to Sunday papers every Sunday with Greg and Mike. Ooh,
it was 3, 2, 1. And we are
all right. Okay. All about.
All right.
It's the Sunday papers.
Oh,
Flopping on your doorstep.
Little
Just
burp.
made a cup of coffee. The fucking German Shepherd's running out front to grab it in his teeth.
You're coming down off Valentine's Day. Everybody loves Valentine's Day, the huge buildup. It's like Christmas and New Year's, and then it's like, it's over. And you're like, no.
I hate to say it because it's been said. Oh,
check.
Microphone. I hate to say it because it's been said. I got my wife a lovely bunch of $80 roses and a card. You know what she got me? A card. Why is it that women want...
My flowers cost 4 times that.
No.
Yeah, that doesn't feel good at all. It fucking... And you can't say anything except, I guess, on a podcast. You can't say a fucking thing.
Whoa, $320?
Well, it's from a nice place, but it's also like I had to order them. They had to be delivered.
Yep.
Tax.
There's a lot of, they whack it a lot of different ways that you don't realize it until you push that fucking final button.
And then I saw, I mean, listen, they were a hit, but then I saw a picture and I'm like, is that a normal size mouse pad that it's next to? Because then I'm fucking pissed.
Yeah. And what did you get?
I got, well, we were in kind of an argument. That's no excuse. I had ordered mine earlier, and we have an inside joke because the first thing I ever sent her, I ordered when we didn't even know each other and maybe had seen each other once. And I was like, talking to the woman, I'm like, she's like, so who's it to? And I go, Hannah. And she goes, all right, and what should it say? I'm like, from Mike. Like, I'm not going to put love Mike, right, in like the first week. So she got, it was like a candle, I think. And it says, to Hannah, from Mike. And she thought that was hysterical. So that's what these said.
Okay. Yeah.
But she, I think, once our argument was over, had Amazon deliver me like and it's kind of my move, a chocolate bar, flowers that I have to unwrap and cut and put, and arrange. And sourdough bread. We both like sourdough bread. So that's an inside
She
joke.
mailed you sourdough bread? I didn't know you could do that.
No. She had stuff delivered.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting way to go.
I got creative once. I think it was last Valentine's because I hate Valentine's Day. Couldn't avoid it this year. And I looked up any products in all of Whole Foods or Bristol, for all of the Amazon that could be like delivered from a supermarket that had the word love in it. So like some pasta sauces have love, and then anything that had heart, a lot of things like artichoke hearts. So I got tons of things that had the word heart, anything that had sweet. So when she first opened it, she's like, is he like sending me a recipe and these are all the ingredients and I have to fucking cook? And then she saw it was all like, oh, honey, anything that had honey.
That's good.
Yeah, so it kind of worked out.
Jesus.
Conceptual.
What a thoughtful guy.
Well, I was saving myself. I had it delivered day of, and the flowers were sold out.
Yeah, I sent my mom. I only ordered it 2 days before, and I sent her. She's having a really bad time with her hand. She has to keep going to the doctor. Can't even grip things. So I sent her this hand massager, but it didn't get there on Valentine's. What? The dude. His name is Michael. And it didn't get there the day of Valentine's Day. And, my dad died so many years ago that I've always tried to step up on Valentine's Day and send her flowers.
Oh,
but I'm
that's
just
sweet.
sick of the rip-off of the flowers. I just, like you said, I don't want to spend $200 on some flowers. It's just, because I got Mother's Day, I got Valentine's Day, I got her birthday, and,
yeah.
And so I decided to send the hand thing, which costs close to the same. But she was, I could tell I can tell from my mom's voice in 3 seconds. I called to say Happy Valentine's Day, and you can hear it, the distance, the shortened answers, the flatness of the tone.
You're like, I should have gotten an orchid. At least it lasts.
Oh, my God. It's fucking crazy. Irish women. Thank God my wife's only half Irish.
Yeah, only half the bullshit. Happy
So,
Super Bowl.
Happy
How'd you
Super
do?
Bowl.
I am going to send you money right now.
I would know how I did because my Venmo didn't ring.
Here it comes.
Dude,
Here
I
it
paid
comes.
you. I paid you within 2 minutes of every many losses that I had this year.
God, I think we bet 50.
Yes, we did.
Sugar. And I had it won. I had it won.
Yeah, but you didn't factor in the left-wing conspiracy theory.
You know what I didn't factor in? And this is all I'm going to say about it. That holding is legal for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. That was really crazy.
It's despicable.
And also on the San Francisco drive, how that fucking linebacker, maybe it was the guard on the 49ers on the right side, just let the defensive guy run right through. And he ended up rushing Purdy. So he made a bad pass, remember?
No. Is this the clip where he blocked his own guy or something?
Jones got through.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was and then I had the pool one. I heard your daughter won the pool.
My daughter won $200 on a
That's what they
$10
tell me.
box bet. So that's good. So how was the I didn't go. You guys kept asking me to come to Penmar for the Super Bowl, but I wanted to hear the game. I wanted to sit on the couch and just undisturbed. Yeah. And I'm glad I did because it was an interesting game. How was Penmar?
Penmar was awesome. It was great. It was busy. You could focus if you wanted. But Mikey holds up a pool, with 100 boxes.
Yeah.
And he's holding it up while they're singing the national anthem. And not one box is filled out. No, dude, the names, it's just 100 boxes. The names of the teams aren't even on the axes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, I go, what are you doing? And he goes, you think it's too late? This is like when a musician who's not like a sports junkie decides to try to do it. He's like, do you know how these work? And I'm like, God, you know what? To tell you the truth, they're perfectly random. Normally.
Yeah, it actually doesn't matter. You could do it in the third quarter if you wanted.
Yeah, I go, you should have it done because people like rooting for the first quarter result, but you definitely have 15 minutes or more, 20 minutes if you want to so that's what happened is he got all the names and then I had a random number generator and I just go, here we go. You're right. I'm going to read out numbers from my phone and it's it's a website. And so that's how we did it.
Oh, so how much was a box?
$20.
No.
So
one box was $20? No, probably 5 boxes.
$5.
20.
$5. Sorry, $5 a box. Right.
Okay. That's pretty good.
We did 100, 100, 100, 200.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you hit anything?
I had it won if there was no more scoring after and then they went to overtime.
Oh, no shit. Oh, that sucks.
The Drive blew it for me. Had it. People literally you won.
It was the highest rated event on television since the 1960s. I think it was like the moon landing or something was the highest. It was crazy. And they really say it was because of Taylor Swift. All right, we'll get to that later. We got a story about that. But let's talk about my cousin Denny.
Yeah, how was it out there?
Well, there's the Genesis Open, I think it's called, and it's at Riviera Country Club here in LA. So went off there and met him at the 5th hole. And it was Mikey Fitz, our forgetful friend Mikey Fitz, Mike Dugan, and then Dickie. And then we met up with Chris Chaney was there. And who else did we meet up with? Somebody else. Denny was 3 under at one point, and he was in 5th place for a while.
Nice.
Yeah. And he's just, just to see him play up close. He's just got such a compact, powerful swing. And what are you looking at? The fuck are you looking up?
While you're talking, it's Mikey. Talk about forgetful. Whatever. I have to respond. I'm listening to every word you're saying. I want to hear about the Open.
It makes somebody feel like they're not heard. I feel like your girlfriend.
You know what Zoom should have? It should have a pause button on your image.
Yeah.
So you can claim like it's stuck.
And then you can jerk off like Jeffrey Toobin.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Toobin. He was tubing it.
So he was 3 under, and then he dropped a couple, and then he birdied 17 and saved par at 18. But it was very weird because I was standing near him for the whole round, but he doesn't really look up. He kind of gazes towards the crowd, and it's like I don't want him to see me because I know as a stand-up, I can't stand seeing people that I know, especially family members, in the audience. And so I always seat them in the back. So on the way to the 18th tee, I look up and he's looking at me in my eyes, and so I wave and I say, "Hey, Denny," and he gave me a very quick wave and then kept walking. And I was like, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have acknowledged."
And that's when he bogeyed.
Now, thank God he hit a fucking rocket off the 18th tee.
And then he's looking
but then
for
at
you.
the end, he came up to me and he gave me a big hug and we talked for a little while.
Thanks for not waving at me all the other times.
I go, "Hey, way to not wear the wedding ring 2 weeks after you just got married." He's like, I can't swing with it. I was like, just keeping the options open.
Are you talking about the club?
But it was great. I tell you what, man, the U.S. Open was such a pain in the ass to walk around. You remember that. It was impossible.
That club, because the course is not in any way it doesn't help crowds.
Well, this course, Riviera, you could walk the whole way.
That's what I heard.
It is, and Thursday, so it wasn't crowded. Perfect weather. It was fucking great. We had such a good time.
Did you see Tiger Woods getting the chewing tobacco out of his bag?
No.
Yeah.
Really?
It's all over social media today.
Huh. I saw him. I saw him hit a shot.
Well, I mean, that's what I saw. He has a round thing that looks like, Copenhagen or Skoal, and took something out and put it in his mouth. Now, I don't know if it's a mint or weed. I don't know what it is, but it's been going around.
He had a mob, and every time he did anything, there was this roar from the crowd. It was crazy.
How did he do? Do you know?
I think he was like even or 1 under. He was 1 under during most of the day. I don't know how he finished out.
And where did Denny finish?
2 under. Okay. So he's in the top 20.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Here it is. He's throwing some chew. Yeah, you can't tell what it is.
Oh, no. Not. I guess we can't put video. You'll see. No, you see him zip it. You see him open the
Chris,
tin.
Can you look up what he finished? How many under par he was or over par?
Yeah, look at the right picture.
Yeah, it looks like some skull.
And he opened it like it.
Who cares? Who fucking cares?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think sponsors don't want to see him chewing to nicotine.
I think he's got enough money at this point.
No, I know that, but I'm saying.
No, he looked like he was having fun. I think he was playing with Justin Thomas, and he was like walking, currently 1 over.
Yeah, it's because he's all fucked up on nicotine.
He was having fun. A lot of the golfers are in a bubble and they don't talk to the guys they play with. But he was like walking shoulder to shoulder with Justin Thomas, and they looked like they were having fun.
Doing the Larry Bird trash talking. He talks trash, Tiger.
Does he?
Oh yeah. They show it all the time. Yeah. Well, he'll brag about it too. I've seen those stories all over. So I went up to him and I said, "Well, remember when he pulled out a tampon?"
Oh, right. Also, I hear he bets on the course. They have a lot of side bets going.
Anything to keep him interested, right?
Yep.
I mean, go for it. Hey,
he can't. The Waffle House girls are out of the picture. He needs something to keep him excited. Speaking of the Super Bowl, let's thank Craig Godet, who did this week's. It's I am Taylor Swift, and you got to be Travis Kelce.
I'm wondering which of us is more unlucky because, I'll talk about. I think Travis. We're going to talk about in a minute.
We'll get into it.
Big question. Is he a douchebag? Stay tuned. 1 minute away.
Song this week. Thank you to Andrew Steiner, who did a really cool. I'm
Very
sure you guys enjoyed that.
Jonathan Richman-like, if you ask me. Like from Something About Mary.
Yeah, a little acoustic guitar, some straightforward verses. That's all we're looking for, people. We don't need, I mean, look, if you have a full band and you want to give us that sound, if you want to give us the wall of sound, we'll take it.
And I'm not insulting Andrew. I mean that in a good way. It had a good vibe to it.
Sure.
No
corrections this week. I can't believe I'm saying that. Literally, not one person wrote in to correct us. Usually we get 20 to 30.
I think people were too tired from the Super Bowl. They just gave up.
Don't give up on coming out to see me live. Portland Helium Comedy Club, February 22nd to the 24th. Huntington Beach, the Rec Room, March 1st. Boca Raton, Florida, March 3rd. La Jolla, March 8th through 10th. Hollywood St. Patrick's Day Show, March 16th. North Pole, Alaska, March 20th. And then Fairbanks, Alaska, March 21st through 23rd. Tampa at Side Splitters, April 4th through 6th. And then a new date just announced today, Mamaroneck, New York, one town over from where Mike Gibbons grew up, at the Maryland Theater on May 31st. That's next door to Eastchester, right?
Right by Greasechester.
Yep. A lot of Italians.
All right. Are we talking about our friends at Factor?
Yep. Let's talk about them.
Delicious, ready-to-eat meals. Make eating better every day easy. I've talked about this before. I got it. I was trying to get it from my dad, who was resistant. He doesn't want anything, blah, blah, blah. Next time I visit him, his whole he's got their Factors in his fridge.
Yeah.
I see it in his trash. He's been all empty. He's loving it. A friend of his got it for him without telling him, and my dad fell in love with it. There's 35 different options a week. There's keto, calorie smart, vegan, there's veggie and more. There's 55 nutrition-packed add-ons. 2-minute meals.
It takes 2 minutes. That's it, because it's in the fridge, not the freezer, so it kind of stays fresher. I swear to you, we do a lot of different ads over the years, but Factor is the one. I'm really telling you, snacks, smoothies. It's just like, it's upscale and it's fast and it's going to cost you less money than eating out. No prep, no mess, 100% ready to eat and heat. No prep and cooking.
And
you don't have to
flexible.
clean.
You can choose between 6 and 18 meals a week. A lot of these things, sometimes I guess that's what my dad was thinking. He's like, no, this is going to be a hassle. It's not a hassle. It's flexible. It's what you need. No prep, no mess. 100% ready to heat and eat. No prep and cooking or cleanup needed. Head to factormeals.com/papers50. That's 50. Use code PAPERS50 to get 50% off. That's code PAPERS50, PAPERS50 at factormeals.com/papers50.
All right.
Hope I made that clear.
We talked about the Super Bowl, and there's no better way to get more excited about it than using Prize Picks for all sports. Fantasy sports app with over 3 million members. Oh, my God. It's growing.
Yeah.
And it's you against the numbers. You pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections. And the support for Sunday Papers, by the way, comes from Prize Picks.
You play alongside people you know, Meek Mill, comedian Andrew Schultz. A bunch of people are playing. You play right alongside them.
We should do that. We should see if they want us to play alongside people.
Oh my God, people would all beat us.
Well, no, you're not playing against us. You can play along us, but you're playing against the numbers.
No, but I mean, if you're competing, like you'll see that. People, you know us in sports.
Prize Picks offers weekly promotions that lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value.
With as little as 4 correct picks, you could turn $10 into 1,000.
So I took the less than on the bet. And the way the more than or less than works is they pick a number and you bet that the actual score will either be less than or more than that. The less than more than number was 47.5. Guess what it was? 47.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I was sweating my ass off. And the thing is, didn't you say they didn't kick the extra point? They didn't need to kick the extra point. So for those people who don't know about football, in overtime, if you
that
win,
made the difference, and you were less than, and you nailed it.
Yep. So that was pretty exciting, and now I'm rich. Rich, I say rich.
Yeah.
So,
I was looking at Anthony Davis more than 2 blocks. I think it's a great bet.
Yep.
So that's what I'm in on.
Damian Lillard for more than 4.43
4
three-pointers made. Anyway, go to prizepicks.com/paper and use code PAPERS for a first deposit match up to $100. Okay? You got to be 21, right? I think you got to be 21. Go to prizepicks.com/papers and use code PAPERS for a first deposit match up to $100. Get involved. It's fun.
Nice.
Okay, let's get to the front page. You got some paper?
Oh, boy, here it is.
Extra! Extra! Read all about it! Extra!
Nice.
All right. The lead story this week, which we're, of course, not doing, but is unfortunately these shootings at the Kansas City Chiefs victory parade. I haven't gotten very involved. I saw it and I just turned off my phone. It's like I just don't even want to.
Thoughts and prayers.
That's all Washington's going to send. That's all they're going to do. But sidestepping that tragic story, I'm wondering, are we learning more than ever that Travis Kelce is a giant douche? That's my question.
Yeah, I can see
He
that.
He wasn't one of the shooters, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But he screams at the coach during the game. He has looked like a full-blown loser in all his celebrations. He took to the stage drunk and tried to sing Friends in Low Places at the parade. The outfits that he's wearing, going to clubs and stuff. Then the night of the shooting, the press found him, or someone found him and sent it to the press. He was out drinking beer, wearing a red tracksuit and a backward baseball cap, posing for selfies. The night.
Here's the thing. He's ultimately a jock. Guys that are that big and talented, they spent from the time they were 12, they were lauded for their physical abilities and told that everything they did was cool. You don't sing "Fight for Your Right to Party" on the podium at the Super Bowl. I love the Beastie Boys. If there's one horrible song they had, it was that. Sing almost any other song at that moment.
Well, there has to be some irony involved.
Is there?
As you're singing it, you know what I mean?
I don't think there is with him. That's my point. I think that he's a jock.
No,
jocks
with him,
don't
no.
have
With
irony.
him, no. I agree.
Yeah, right. Oh, you're saying normally it has. Yes, right.
Yeah.
Like in college, my friend Jeff Ginn used to get drunk and he'd stand on his kitchen table in his dorm, and he had an apartment, and he would sing "Fight for Your Right to Party," and then he would pour a beer over his head, and it was the greatest human experience you can go through, to be laughing with and at him at the same time.
Yeah. And who is taking away your right to party? Like,
Right.
Is it that big of a fight?
Yeah.
So when someone sings it without any irony, you're like, you are an idiot.
Yeah.
And listen, as Taylor constantly, as Taylor Swift tells us, she is the absolute worst at picking boyfriends.
Good point.
One after the other.
Yeah.
Are we up to the hundreds now? How many songs? They're all horrible, insensitive monsters. And I think so it goes with this one.
Yep. Although, I have to say, there's always the backlash effect of two good-looking, successful people. You know, it is like, I don't know, maybe part of us should just celebrate the levels of achievement two human beings can have and then come together. This guy, Travis Kelce, he's got the record for most receptions by any NFL tight end in their first 10 seasons. He has 35 regular season games of 100 receiving yards or more, which is the record. He has 114 receptions of 20 yards or more, which is a franchise record. 9 consecutive seasons with 50-plus receptions, tied for wide receiver Mike Evans for the league. And it goes on and on. He has so many records. Taylor, and a good-looking guy. Taylor Swift, beautiful. I mean, you can't not, I shouldn't say beautiful, very pretty. You can't say she's not categorically very pretty.
He was on a reality, like, Bachelor show. Not The Bachelor, but one like it. I think he's just always been douchey. And
Hold on, I'm on a roll.
Oh,
and then
sorry.
you got this woman who's very pretty.
Yes,
and
honey.
She holds records like she has 26 billion streams, the most of any artist. She's the highest earning female musician in the industry. She's worth $1 billion. She just had the highest grossing music tour in history. She has the most American Music Awards in history. She has with 40. She has the most number one hits in history. I mean, it goes on and on.
She's for everything, picking a boyfriend.
Yes. But maybe that's why this is so special. She never had a guy who had that kind of stats before. I mean, let's celebrate their love. Let's just embrace it, and then one day sacrifice their first child. It will erase the national debt. It'll solve world peace. I mean, think about how human sacrifices used to go. This would be the ultimate human sacrifice.
She's dated super famous, accomplished dudes, so that's not a first.
Not as big as this guy.
You don't think?
I mean, who did she date?
Of course, everyone's going to be screaming right now.
Nick Jonas. What did she date? Nick or Joe Jonas, one of the Jonas brothers? That doesn't stack up to this guy.
Jake Gyllenhaal?
He just won 3 Super Bowls in the last 5 years.
No, there was some other. I'm trying to remember now. I forget who. Olivia. Who is Taylor Swift's most famous boyfriend?
Maybe our producer could look up stuff like this. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Who? Yeah, before that douchebag. Rumors. The rumors.
Oh, God. What are we doing?
Harry Styles. Hello?
Harry Styles is pretty
Jake
famous.
Gyllenhaal. Who else? Taylor Lautner.
Who the hell's Taylor Lautner?
Top of his game at one time.
Who?
Hiddleston.
No, you're not impressing me.
She dated a Kennedy. Who else? Middleditch, one of those guys?
Thomas Middleditch? All right, listen, let's move on to other big famous singers.
John Mayer.
John Mayer, okay.
And thousands of others, Greg. Thank you.
Chris just wrote, I was typing up top, and then he finished. I was typing up top. Up top? Are we up top?
She's a top.
But I mean, are we up top, or are we in the section that has Taylor Swift in it in the script?
She had a thing with Kanye West. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Speaking of that, let's move on. Are we ready to move on?
Yeah. Let's move down to Kanye.
Big week for Kanye. Kanye has pissed off a lot of people by debuting at #1 with his new album that he dropped, Vultures. And he said, it proves I can't be canceled. He also in an interview said he does not take back the anti-Semitism. Now, I didn't hear the quote. I don't know if that's exactly how he stated it, but he did not back down from his comments. He kind of doubled down on him from what I heard. Go
ahead.
He also said he was 2 months from going bankrupt before this latest comeback.
Huh. Well, if he's anti-Semitic, then I guess he can no longer believe that the Jews control the industry, the music industry, because he's #1.
It's a good point. They don't run everything, I guess.
I just think we need Kanye. It's like It reminds me of that scene in Scarface where Al Pacino's in the restaurant and he's all coked up and he's making a scene and they kind of drag him out of there and he's like, say goodbye to the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. Look at me. Because we need a sponge for all of our judgment and all of our self-righteousness. And he's the guy. And if we need him. It's like I don't get his music. Like everybody says, genius, genius, genius. Okay. All right. You say genius. I don't get it. I don't respond, but it's art. So I'm not everybody's supposed to, but I love reading about him. I'm curious because I don't know all the things you can't say or do. And he comes up with them. He comes up with new ones where you go, oh, well, I thought you were done. And you came up with something new. And if he goes away, what do we got? He goes away. We got Andy Dick. Guy's got 2 moves, rehab and groping. Kanye's got a new thing every time. Here's a quote from Kanye. Everybody felt what I felt. I even said the apology, and my fans still fuck with me. Some of the anti-Semitic stuff I was saying was true. So until you all come up and say, yo, what was he saying? Some of that was true. Then go ahead with all that. I don't even understand when he talks. Never mind his music.
Yeah. Well, supposedly there's a rumor that Taylor Swift may have had him removed from the Super Bowl.
Oh.
And former NFL player Brandon Marshall, he stated in his podcast that Swift may have been the reason that West left the Super Bowl because he was sitting up near her. And then one theory was that was a way for him to get on camera every time they took a shot of Taylor.
Was he in her box? Because a woman has a right to choose who's in her box.
So, and also it's historically a very crowded place. We've already been through that.
Yeah.
So maybe not.
No, her box is huge.
By the way, one of the reasons I follow Kanye is the pictures he is now continually putting out of his wife are bonkers. You've seen them?
Yeah.
He then erases a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because they are quite they cause a stir. Let's just say that they cause a stir. Let me try to find one here. I grabbed a picture of.
Yeah, she's kind of just right for him.
Well, I think what he's doing is he's treating her as art.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen? Here's just a shot of.
It's like Bob Hope and Brooke Shields.
Her.
Yeah, I saw that. Right.
And then this one, making breakfast.
Yeah.
With a black gimp hood, like leather type mask on, black boots, and what can only be described as negligee that's barely hanging on to her breasts.
Are the breasts real?
They look very much so.
They do look real.
Yeah, oh, no, very much so.
Which does not fit his profile at all. Have you seen his new teeth?
Yeah, nothing's real over there. No, whose new teeth did I just? Oh, Billy Joel's.
No. Kanye's new teeth. He had.
Oh, right. Oh, no. Right. Sorry. Yeah, he has a grill.
No, not even a grill. It's one piece. There's no. It's not even made to look like teeth. It looks like, remember Jaws from James Bond, where it's just one big piece. It's just one big piece of metal, and apparently he filed down all his original teeth. He's stuck with that shit for life.
I hope it doesn't affect his flawless singing voice.
Oh God.
You see Billy Joel's new teeth though?
No.
Like when you're in there, why don't you be like you come to or whatever happens in the dentist chair, and you look and you're like, okay, let's take the white down a notch or two. This is an unnatural white. You wouldn't even paint your bedroom this white.
Yeah. Like
you would go with Swiss coffee or another shade. Like this is the craziest, hottest white ever.
And then they're perfectly smooth and even, probably, right? They never round them. You got to make little cracks. Look at my teeth. Go ahead and crack.
No thanks. No thanks. We're all right. Yeah, take it up a notch. Take those up a notch, Greg.
Yeah. Let's talk about an award-winning Penn State professor. We talked about this guy once before, but he's back. He was arrested in a, quite frankly, sickening bestiality case. He's got more charges now. He engaged in more lewd acts in a park, including inserting a tree branch and lollipop in his butt. Themis Matsoukas, these Greeks, 64, was already facing charges of indecent exposure, intercourse with an animal. He had sex with a collie, which if you're going to pick a dog, the chemical engineering professor begged troopers to kill him while saying the sex acts helped him to blow off steam. He was captured on video masturbating on a picnic table. Yeah, I hope there was a tablecloth down. In a lake at the park, also, he climbed a tree naked, inserted a tree branch, a Tootsie Pop, and the control handle of a DCNR John Deere crawler in his anus.
All at once?
Yes. It's like Taylor's box. The accused perv also allegedly defecated in public areas. And
this guy likes going to parks. He did that in a state forest.
Well, they just say don't, let your dog loose. They don't say anything about.
Yeah, you don't see a sign. Like there's a sign through a cocktail glass, the circle with the line through it. There's no line through putting a John Deere crawler in your anus.
How would you know? How would anybody know?
Hello?
Who has that joke about, like, whenever they have a line through the martini glass? Maybe it's Colin Quinn. It's
Louie. It was Louie.
Oh, is it Louie? He's like,
because I don't think martinis are the problem with public drinking. Yeah.
So this guy, I mean, God bless him. He is going for it. I guess he's out on bail. And he's just celebrating.
It's Penn State. All he has to do is you guys know about the football department, right?
Yeah.
Come on, guys. These crimes are harmless. No one is getting hurt except me and maybe a few squirrels.
Yes.
Who see me. And a picnic table. Picnic table got pretty hurt.
Yeah, whoever stopped by to have a picnic after me, maybe they got a little giardia.
Give it a day. When I've been in the park, then give it a day. Things should die off on their own.
Amelia Earhart's family is once again hopeful that the 87-year-old mystery over the aviator's disappearance will finally be solved after a search in the Pacific pinged what could be her long-lost airplane. I hate to say it because she was a pioneer, but I think she's dead.
Yeah, I don't think it's a mystery.
On the final day of the search, Romeo's deep-sea vision crew detected what appeared to be a sunken plane 16,000 feet underwater. There have been many, many searches, and really not a single shred of evidence has ever turned up. It feels like this is more of a promising lead than anything we've seen to date. Meanwhile, by the way, Delta's still looking for my bag on my flight to Miami 3.5 years ago. Can we focus on that?
Nope, no leads. No leads at all.
Had my sleep guard in it. Had my pocket rocket in it.
Well, one of the problems is all the search parties have been led by women. So they're not going to find it. Are you kidding me? Amelia didn't intend to go to that place.
Yeah, what are they looking for? If you need evidence of women that are bad drivers, go to the Matsuka Japanese market parking lot. Set up a couple cameras.
That's my idea. Don't steal it. And then Japanese parking lot, I would watch it. If there was a channel that just played Japanese parking lot, I don't think this is racist. They're overly cautious. I think there's a better word for it, but it's profiling. I'm profiling certain things.
Yeah.
Like an Irish goodbye. Like it's a certain cultural, then there's deference, which Gladstone spilled a lot of ink over. Gladwell, I mean. Anyway, Amelia Earhart's family, I don't think wants her found because it's like half her makeup is going to be on and they will totally know why she crashed.
Right. You know what it was? It was probably a disgruntled guy from Philly who didn't like the peanuts and got all riled up and started some domestic stuff on the flight.
I thought you meant the comic strip, the Peanuts. I didn't know what you were talking about. Yeah. Like that guy who got up and shit on the bar cart that was going through?
Yeah. He didn't want to be told to put his armrest down. And so he fucking took her out.
I'm not wearing a mask. Amelia's like, what are you talking about?
It's 1948. What are you yelling about? What year was she? I mean, it's 75 years ago. So it would have been...
It was before
45.
Spirit
It would
Airlines.
have been about 45. Before
What was
Spirit
she
Airlines.
doing? No, wait. What was she doing flying to that part of the world during World War II? It had to be a different date.
I don't
Chris,
know.
do we know?
Denman,
Do we
can you
know
look that up for us?
Amelia
What year did
Earhart?
she... What year?
Here it comes.
1937.
Between the wars, Germany was just
Right.
warming up.
Yeah, no, they were building bad stuff at that point. They
What
were
was
preparing.
it called? Weimar? No, not the Weimar. Was it the Weimar Republic in 37? I'm trying to remember. One thing that might have stuck
Well,
to my
Denman
brain during
definitely
college.
would know.
Oh, yeah, he
Just
would
off
know.
the top of his head.
Well, he calls it the rebuilding years.
Yes.
That's what he calls the 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
They
calls
were
it
tough.
He calls it the time when we didn't really have focus. We lost our focus.
Yeah. Pre-greatness. That was the thing. Make Germany great again.
Yeah.
He had the hat.
All right, let's skip this next one because I don't really have any jokes about it. But let's go
But
to Delta.
OnlyFans professor. Okay, Delta Airlines. Okay, they turned back because of an issue with overhead bins. Somebody brought rotten fish on this Delta flight in a carry-on bag and placed it in an overhead bin. And then the maggots broke free. These are not my words, and rained on the passengers seated below.
Oh my God.
Flight attendants tracked the maggots to a fish wrapped in a newspaper. After the man it belonged to claimed it, flight attendants took it away and gave it to coach. They took it away, and the pilot announced that the flight would be returning to Amsterdam.
Of course.
It was Amsterdam to Detroit, this flight. The aircraft returned to the gate and passengers were placed on the next available flight. The aircraft was removed from service for cleaning. So first of all, one of the headlines said, international flight to Detroit was carrying maggots. I'm like, that sounds like the most racist headline ever. And I thought, you know what? It's getting much easier to see which newspapers are owned by Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah, I think Amsterdam might be Europe's Detroit. So that makes sense. You know, they
Yeah.
say that fish rots from the head, but sometimes it rots from the overhead.
There
That's
it
not
is.
bad. It's right there. It's just sitting there.
I love it.
It's sitting there waiting for Carson Daly's writers to scoop it. He doesn't have a show anymore. Whatever to Carson Daly. I heard
do you
he's
mean?
I heard he's a scratch golfer.
That's what I heard also. But he's Good Morning America, I think. Something
Oh,
like that.
really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And he had two jobs at once. I think he still had his late night thing here, which then became all pre-taped, no audience, and an interview type show. And then he was
The radio show. Yeah, the radio show every morning.
And then he had The Voice, dude. He's the host of The Voice.
I think I remember at one point he was flying back and forth for his radio show and a TV show in New York.
Yes. And then
He got replaced on Today's Show in September. Apparently.
All right.
Okay.
He was on there, though, while doing The Voice. I do remember that. And I think
Wow.
a little crossover with his late night show.
How did they find somebody else who had no soul?
Oh, I ran into him. He inadvertently, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, stole a bit that we were doing. Oh, he played a clip as if he found it, but it was Spike Ferrison's late night show. We made it. So he thought he found a viral clip, but played it from a competing late night show. And to his credit, he came over and appeared on our show and apologized.
Oh, well, that's very nice.
Like, not in a funny way. Like, I think it was like we had these kids. So it was Lil George Bush, and the kid would be angry, and he was this great actor, and it went viral. And I think he like walked in with the little kid holding him, like, here, this is yours. Sorry, I didn't think he was yours.
So I should expect Daniel Tosh to show up on this show and apologize to me for taking my bit, my Cosby bit?
Yeah. Keep waiting, I'm imagining.
Okay,
Well, you have been waiting, right?
Let's go to Florida.
Here it is. Okay, so Winter Haven, Florida. A Polk County man is spending Valentine's Day in jail after he not only stole statues out of a front yard, but he gifted them to his ex-girlfriend. Anthony Lewis, 33, wanted Valentine's Day to be special for his lost love. Lewis was riding his bicycle when he stole 2 crane statues out of a woman's front yard. That's just what she wanted.
Well, I mean, I love when people put shit on their front yard and they just expect that everyone's going to leave it there.
Imagine looking out. It's like not even a guy jumping out of his car. He's trying to hold 2 crane statues on his bicycle. It's why this is Florida. It's
Which,
Florida.
by the
man.
way, there's no doubt it was a stolen bicycle.
Well, wait, just wait. The sheriff said these statues were provided to the victim by her deceased husband before he was deceased, of course. So the sheriff added, before he was deceased, of course, but they were pretty special to her, and he rips them off. So the sheriff's not sounding too bright here. Like, ma'am, did he give you the statues before he was dead? I just have to fill out a report. Detectives tracked the missing statues to Lewis's ex-girlfriend's home. The statues were returned to their rightful owner, and Lewis, who was 39, had previous burglary and theft. Lewis has 39 previous burglary and theft charges.
Damn.
So the bike being stolen is very likely. Yeah, he's only 33. And the sheriff finished by saying, and this is a quote, not a joke, "Keep an eye on this guy. If this guy's in the area, he'll steal it." So, I don't know. He's going to steal it? Steal what? All of it? He will steal it all. Just watch him.
He's a wordsmith. He's a real word. Here's the thing about Florida cops. First of all, they're assholes. Second of all, a lot of them come from Staten Island or the greater New York area, Jersey. They all relocated cops. And so they've got a New York attitude with problems that are not New York level problems.
They're like, this is like shooting fish in a barrel. I'm just on my pension. I'm going to retire at 48.
Yeah. Plus, why steal them? You ever been to Florida? You can get 2 real cranes in about 5 minutes. They're everywhere. Just go to a dumpster behind a Wawa's. They're everywhere.
Just stand outside of some trailers, and if the door doesn't open in a day, that guy passed away.
Yep.
You can take him.
This guy also stole a lawn jockey, but he kept it because he likes hanging out with a guy in blackface.
Yeah.
Are lawn jockeys black or are they in blackface?
They're black. What do you mean? How dare you?
I don't know.
Well, did I tell the story in the last couple of weeks? I think about Basquiat.
Denman is saying new curb last week addressed this question. Interesting. Me and Larry thinking exactly alike again.
Anyway, the quick little thing was I started teaching at a university, and I was afraid of the wokeness because a lot, like, you can't say the word crazy in some classes and stuff. It's an ableist language. I should say in all classes. Anyway, and I'm afraid I'm going to get in trouble without meaning to. And another professor told me he had a friend who was an art history professor, like legendary guy, old guy. And actually, he was down in the scene in New York when Basquiat was around, and Basquiat painted this guy. And so the guy decided to show the painting. Well, Basquiat painted this old white professor, but he was a young white guy in blackface.
Oh.
And he got reported, but I think it's the funniest issue because technically any black person in the painting is in blackface. I mean, it's been painted.
Yeah.
So it's like, I wouldn't want to like taken an edible and then be handed that case and be like, what do you make out of this?
Yeah. Yeah, that's complicated. Plus, it's art.
Yeah.
It's fucking art. Jesus.
A black painter painted a white guy who's painted. He painted his white face, and then he painted black paint over his white paint. My head would explode. It's already hurt.
And it's not his face. It's a canvas.
Yes.
By the way, it's so funny. You took on teaching a course at the same time, and now you suddenly just. Do we want to announce what job you just took on?
I'm not really signed, so maybe we wait a little bit.
All right. It's a big deal, everybody. We'll let you know about it in the next couple weeks.
I'm replacing Biden. The Democrats are terrified.
All right, let's skip this next story.
Okay.
Unless you're excited about it.
No.
Okay.
You found that story.
We got enough Florida stories.
Well, that's a good one for next week. I mean, that's out of like a comedy movie.
All right, let's put that in next week. It is out of a comedy movie. It's perfect. Let's get to sports.
Here we go. Sports time.
So the Super Bowl, we already covered that. The 49ers lost. They were giving 2 points to Kansas City, which means you lost. And
what did they win by? 4?
Yeah.
3? 3.
I think, is it 3? Yeah.
Because they only, I think, right? Because they didn't kick the extra point.
No. Oh, right. So we told people that they could do the prop bets that Tim Dilly set in, but we did not, in fact, post that link on the site, which is on me. So we will go through. Do we know what our answers were?
Here's what's hysterical. We could just do this because of our memories, and it would still be exciting.
Okay, so coin flip, heads or tails. I said tails. You said heads. It turns out.
I have an interesting thing about this.
What?
There were 2 coin flips.
Oh, that's true.
And the most famous
tails
one.
Both times.
No, first one was heads.
Oh.
The most famous coin flip of any Super Bowl ever was tails. That's the one right before overtime.
Right.
But I would
a lot
give
of people
you,
said
that's
they
not
made a
the one we
mistake.
bet on. I lost that one.
right.
The one we really bet on, because I'm a reasonable guy, was heads at the beginning.
And then first shot of Taylor Swift, I think we both said before kickoff. It was absolutely before kickoff.
Of course it was. Yep.
Which type of business will have its first TV commercial? I said beer. You said fast food, I believe.
Nope. Car.
You said car. In fact, it was other, which was like I can't remember what it was for, but it wasn't any of those choices.
Maybe it was for Jesus.
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
Who will score first? I said Chiefs. You said 49ers. It was 49ers.
Was the Chiefs? Was the Jesus ad? What was one of the messages? Wasn't it like "Don't be a dick"? I think
In those
don't
words?
be mean.
Mm.
You paying that much money to say "Don't be a dick"? I don't know. Go on. It's crazy.
Number field goals missed by Jake Moody. I said 1. You said more than 1. It was actually 0.
Wait, I said he'd miss more than. There's no way I said that.
All right, we'll go back and check.
Okay.
What will the clock read at the time of the 2-minute warning of the first half?
Oh,
will
I
it
don't
be
know.
2 minutes exactly or less than 2 minutes? I said 2 minutes exactly. What did you
Is
say?
there a 2-minute warning in the first half? I know people are smashing their heads against the wall right now.
Yeah, the first half has a 2-minute warning.
Oh, okay.
It was 2 minutes. The clock, they ran it down to 2 minutes. Will Ludacris join Usher for Yeah during the halftime show? I said yes. What did you say?
Of course I said yes.
All right, and he did. Will the score of one of the teams be 10-17 or 23 at the end of the third quarter? I don't remember what we said.
I didn't pay attention, Usher, but I did see when he ripped his shirt off. Did he learn nothing from Adam Levine?
Let's cut down to color of the Gatorade. I said yellow. What did you say?
Red.
It was purple.
I win. It would have been red if the ice had melted more.
Yeah. All right, let's get to this soccer thing. Was crazy. A 35-year-old player was struck by lightning and killed in a freak accident in a match in Indonesia. If you haven't seen this, people, just look up soccer player lightning Indonesia.
Isn't it heavy and it'll bum you out?
It happens pretty fast.
Oh, never mind. I take it back. It was in the middle of a friendly game, it says here.
Oh, yeah, it was a friendly game.
That's nice.
So it was in Indonesia, and he just collapsed, and I saw the footage. I think it was a flop. It looked like a flop, and I'm sick of that shit.
Listen, the second he went off sides, he learned his lesson.
Right.
You don't want to stand out. You don't want to stand out. Stay in a pack.
It just proves that even God hates soccer.
That's terrible.
All right, let's go international, Mike. Crinkle us in.
Do you know any golfers who have been struck by lightning? That's the most popular sport for it, I think.
I don't know, but I was hit in the head with a golf club once while playing.
Very close.
Knocked unconscious.
Did God throw it? We had a woman that in Carmel there, and there's a 9-hole. She got
Wait, you
struck.
tell this story. I got to go get a plug for my computer. It's going dead.
She got struck and lived, so that's the good news. She lived, but yeah, you're interrupting. And but she was wearing a necklace, and she had a burn mark around her neck. But I guess she was grounded. Now, I don't know if she was wearing spikes. I wonder if spikes. Someone wrote in a correction this week, and they really knew what they were talking about on when I talked about the water flooding on my roof, the guy did the math on how much 6 inches of water by 12 by 20 feet weighs, and then figured out how many pounds per square inch it is. And it wasn't as much as I thought. I bet that guy will be able to write in. Thank you for doing that, sir. I bet that guy will write in and be able to tell, would a golfer be hurt or helped if it has to be hurt if they have spikes on rather than just rubber soles.
Huh.
Because the spikes used to be, I guess, in leather soles originally. But let's make it more difficult and say the spikes are in rubber soles. This is my prediction. He's going to say...
No, they were wood. They were wood.
Negligible difference because it's in the ground, and that's the grounding. That's my guess.
No, I used to work in the shoe room of a country club, and my job was to scrub down the shoes and the spikes, and if one of the spikes was missing, I had to put a new spike in, and then I had to wax them and polish them. And so you had to put your hand inside of the shoe to get traction, and the shoe was still hot and sweaty from the fucking old fart that was wearing it for the last 5 hours. But the soles were absolutely wood.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right.
Kind of like my floor shine. I have floor shine right here in the closet, and they are wooden with nails in them all around, and they're worn out a bit, so they click and clack. That's how I do all my tap dancing.
Let's talk about this Coke. Authorities on a search and rescue mission for 2 missing fishermen off the Pacific coast of Colombia instead found a semi-submersible vessel loaded with more than 4 tons of cocaine. The so-called narco sub was intercepted during a joint operation by the Colombian and Ecuadorian navies. The Navy released images of the seizure as well as video showing officers unloading bundles of the alleged narcotics. 4 people who were on board the sub were arrested with 4.5 tons of cocaine. With this seizure, the entry of more than $137 million was prevented. And afterwards, the Colombian Navy had a small award ceremony, which lasted 6 weeks. This coincided with a roundup of prostitutes and goods seized from several area delicatessens.
I think these navies, I'm surprised they didn't hit like 6 of these. You could practically run across the subs all the way to Hawaii.
Yeah, right.
You know how much cocaine is sitting like 8 feet underwater off the coast of Colombia?
Yeah. By the way, did you see Giselda?
No, but I saw a documentary on her, and I mean, she is the Scarface of Miami. I mean,
beyond
it's-
Scarface. She was running all of Miami's coke. Griselda. What did I say?
Yeah.
Griselda. But this movie
Ghislaine.
with what's her name in it is she's
Sofia
so fucking
Vergara.
good. Sofia Vergara. She is so good.
No,
The
she
movie,
has so much. She has so much range. She plays a South American woman on Modern Family. And what's her role here?
she's a more serious South American woman. But she really, I mean, they always say it's brave when a woman makes herself look bad, but she definitely like puts on makeup that makes her look bad. She kind of slumps forward, and it was good. Definitely watch it.
Okay, I'm not shaming her, but one time I'm on George Lopez had a late night show. She was the guest. We were supposed to rehearse a bit. So I go on stage. I have the headset on. The director and the booth are actually in a trailer out in the parking lot on the Warner Brothers lot. And so I go, where is she? Like, I didn't know. And so I turn around. And they're like, she's on stage. And I turn around. And she's not, I don't see her at all. And so I go, she's not, and I said it kind of loud because I was a little frustrated. I'm like, she's not out here. And then the director like pressed his button. He's like, she's standing right behind you. And I turn around, and there was a person that I had just turned around and looked at. And then I screamed, she's not out here. And she's in a trench coat with no makeup on and was unrecognizable.
Really?
I'm not saying she wasn't beautiful. But like, have you ever seen, especially like blonde women, when they don't like darken their eyebrows, like or like eyelashes with makeup? I mean, I think Gwyneth Paltrow's like this, like, and their faces, they're a little unright because their features are kind of gone.
Christina Aguilera. I was working on a TV show that she came on, and she wasn't done up, and I absolutely did not recognize her.
Right. Well, she normally wears so much like bold coloring, with her lips and her eyes, that I did not recognize her.
Huh.
Yeah. So that was fun. I'm like, oh, hey. And I had to like fumble and make up that I didn't see her.
Denman is writing that Billy Corben did the doc Cocaine Cowboys, which originally pushed her out into the public. Okay. Interesting factoid.
We've talked with Denman about Corben before.
A severely burned Indian woman who was thought to be dead reportedly woke up in a hearse moments before she was going to be cremated.
Just in time.
Bougie Amma, 52, suffered burns over half her body in a February 1st house fire and was treated at a medical center. Took a turn for the worst after being released, but her hard-up family could not afford to take her to another hospital. On Monday, she did not open her eyes, did not show signs of breathing. Quote, "We thought she was dead and informed others in the locality to arrange a hearse van to carry her body to the cremation ground," her husband said. And by the way, they got half off at the crematorium because she was already partially burned. They gave her a break.
The husband's like, no, plans have already been made. We've already called the insurance company. Let's move this along. Let's go.
Is that how he talked? How did he really sound?
Let's go.
Okay.
There, I put a little flavor, a little
Okay.
curry. I just put a little curry on it, a tiny bit.
I love that they wanted to go back to the hospital, but they couldn't afford it. Meanwhile, she's in a fucking hearse. How about get your priorities straight?
Yeah.
You know what a hearse costs in India? You got to pay the guy that's pulling it with the two wooden sticks.
Can you imagine a hearse in Indian traffic? That's not going to go well.
No.
Yeah.
We're going to skip this story, but we're going to tease it next week that there's a great story about apes.
Yes, with their senses of humor.
Here's one about a bear. A Peruvian police officer lured out a suspected drug dealer with a fake Valentine's gift while wearing a fuzzy bear costume and beckoning her into the street with a box of chocolates. Video shows the officer down on one knee, holding a sign that reads in Spanish, "You are my reason to smile." The duped suspect comes out on the porch before the video cuts to another shot. This time, he has his mask on still, but she is in handcuffs. Police pulled out multiple stashes of what appeared to be heroin or a similar opioid. I'm guessing if she got lured into the open by chocolates from a giant teddy bear, might have found some weed and mushrooms in there as well.
So, I mean, he's doing drug busts in Peru. How is the headline not Cocaine Bear?
Right.
I mean, it's right there.
And it was Peru, so a giant stuffed bear is only 4'6". They are the smallest. Aren't
And
they? I think they are.
Is she trying to be the new Griselda or whatever? Who is this drug dealer from South America?
She looked small timey. I put a picture in there. Did you see the picture? She's
Yeah.
tiny. She looks like a girl. She looks like
She looks
12
like one of
years
the
old.
one of the women in the factory in drug movies that's stuffing all the packages.
Yeah, they're packing cocaine in their bra and underwear.
Yeah, exactly.
All
All right, we're going to this day in history.
You want to skip science? Yeah, let's skip science and go right to this day in history.
You got it, pal. Oh, I do see. What'd you write here? Dunkin' Donuts. I think we have to, at some point, we have to talk about these Dunkin' Donuts ads.
Yeah.
What the hell are they thinking? Okay, this day in history. It
I'm going to
wasn't
look
a great
up
one.
so you know that I'm not Googling the answer while you're giving this to me, the question.
So, using a 13-inch telescope at the Lowell Observatory in Flagstaff, Arizona, a 24-year-old American with no formal training in astronomy discovered the dwarf planet Pluto on this day. On what year?
Now,
Give
is
or,
this
give
when
or
they
take 30.
is this when they changed the status of Pluto to a dwarf?
No, this is when, no, you're right. That is tricky language. No, Pluto was discovered as a planet.
Okay. Jesus, I don't know. Arizona. I'm going to say 1910.
You win according to my bet. So it's 1930.
Okay. Sneaked it in. That's not
Toni
bad.
Morrison, born on this day, what year? In Lorain, Ohio.
What's the range I get to guess in?
You have a 10-year range. Well, really, that makes it 20. You have a 20-year range.
1938.
Woo! 1931.
Nice.
Okay. Let's see if there's anything else here, but I want to skip because it's a very, very boring. I mean, Dale Earnhardt died on this day. Do you know what year that was? In the Daytona 500.
1987.
Final lap. 2001. You weren't. I would have given you 5 years on that one. So nothing. Okay. Here we go. Let me see. I think so. Monday, February 19th. Way more interesting. Karl Lagerfeld. Remember that he was shot and killed?
Who's Karl Lagerfeld?
Was he Chanel? No, he just died in Paris. I'm confusing him. I forget who I'm confusing him with. Harper Lee died. I don't like any of these. Fidel
To Kill
Castro.
a Mockingbird?
How about this? Fidel Castro formally resigned on tomorrow. What year? February 19th. What year? And his brother took over.
When his brother took over, I would say 2017.
2008. I think I would have only given you 5 years.
Really? 2008? Damn.
Okay, give or take 5 years. Betty Friedan published The Feminine Mystique. February 19th. What year?
1965.
Nice. 1963.
Okay.
Okay, here's the last one because it's fun. I think they're playing along at home. We're fast forwarding. Kansas became the first U.S. state to include the prohibition of alcoholic beverages in its state constitution. I'm going to give you. Hold on. I'm going to give you 20 years on either side of the year.
1900.
You fucking did it. 1881.
Nice.
I would have guessed later.
Well, because Prohibition started in 1920,
Yeah, see?
right around 1920.
God, Kansas was a dry state all those years? Wow. All right. That was good. You did well.
Not bad.
Yeah, I'd
Once
say.
people find out that I've got Google glasses and I'm staring at the ceiling and guessing.
Here we go. The obits.
Oh, boy.
You know what? This isn't that sad. At 96 years old, the inventor of the Pop-Tart, William Bill Post, has died.
It would be so cool if people went to his wake and he popped out of the coffin. They should have done that. Just get some springs, put some icing on his face.
Is it open casket? If someone tears that aluminum foil thing open and slides him out, it is. Known for sharing his unending supply of Pop-Tarts. I guess he had a reputation for that. In an interview featured in the Kellanova, which is Kellogg's corporate name, on the YouTube page, Post shared that he had to break every rule in the book when he created Pop-Tarts. He explained that he would never have been more intimidated had he known in time how huge Pop-Tarts would become. News of his death comes months ahead of the May 3rd release. I did not hear about this. Of Unfrosted, the Pop-Tart story on Netflix, directed by Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, so it's going to go deep. It's going to challenge you right to your core.
Who is this person?
What on Pop-Tarts?
The film highlights the race between Kellogg's and Post to create a new breakfast pastry. In addition to Seinfeld, the film also stars Melissa McCarthy, Jim Gaffigan, Hugh Grant, and Daniel Levy. Oh, there's a Pop-Tart mascot that Denman just put up.
Okay.
But I was reminded of Brian Regan's amazing bit on Pop-Tarts. Do you remember that?
No.
They have directions. He's like, how is there more than one step? Shouldn't it be toast Pop-Tart? But he then goes through the directions, and there's two sets of directions. There's one for the toaster, but there's also one for the microwave. He's like, how fast do you need this that you have to? He's like, how long does the toaster take? A minute if you want it browned? YouTube, Brian Regan, Pop-Tart. It's like 2.5 minutes, and I guarantee you laugh. It's so good.
Well, I feel like we need to cheer up.
All right. Here we go. We're going with funnies.
Well, this was sent in by a listener who's a dear friend of the show, George from GS Artworks, who actually did this Sunday Papers logo over my shoulder that we framed.
Nice.
So he did a little comic strip. We're going to post it. You're going to see it if you're watching right now. And it is, it's a Blondie cartoon where I am Dagwood. And I walk in, I say, finally we meet. I already took care of your husband. And you just see feet laying out of frame and a mallet. And she goes, Dagwood, oh no. And I say, but Blondie. And then Dick Tracy has got me outside. And he's saying, you're coming with me. And then I'm in jail. And they bring in Hagar the Horrible, who calls me a sicko.
Well, hello. They're wheeling Hagar in like a Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, Hagar Hannibal.
He's on a dolly.
Wow. That's pretty great. Pretty great. Thank you, George.
Yeah.
Let's get to the Lockhorns. Leroy comes in. And he says,
Lecter.
I never thought I'd ever be spending 2 hours a day in a gym. And I was right.
See, you feel smart. Some resolutions work out in different ways.
You've been going to the gym. That was your resolution, wasn't it?
I have been going to the gym, actually.
Look at you.
And I tell you, oh, yeah, I went up and skied.
Yeah.
Mammoth, I didn't pay this. But Mammoth is $249 a day.
What?
On weekends. I took
No,
a
it's
picture
not.
of it. So I was on a lift, right? And this guy's very pro-mammal. He's like, isn't this the greatest? You know, and he's a fucking white, clueless guy. And he's like, isn't this the greatest? I'm like, yeah, it's great. I go, it's kind of expensive. And he's one of those guys, and you'd be the same way. And I go, yeah, I know it is great. I go, I can't believe, you know, I was lighthearted. I swear to God. I was like, but I couldn't believe how expensive it's gotten, right? And he's like, yeah, but worth it. And I just couldn't. So I'm like, is it? Like, just say nothing.
Yeah.
Just fucking, you don't even know this guy's first name.
Right.
And I'm like, is it? I go, let's say you take this, 10 times today, right? Like if you go all the way to the top and all that, let's say you take 10 lift rides. I go, when I go to a club and if they charge me a $25 cover, I'm going to spend the whole night in there, say, right? I'm going to spend the whole night and party and have a great time. I'm pissed about the 25. I go, you are paying 25 for this chair ride, just this one, right now.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
didn't
that's
talk the rest of
obscene.
them.
$25. How was the hotel? You told me that you got the last hotel available online after Motel 6 had been sold out.
It was the worst. And then they overbooked. And so my buddy Jesse and I went, and they had one king bed. And then when we opened when we opened the pullout, the mattress was already falling through it, like without any weight on it. It was already going down because nothing was supporting it. So we called like, oh, yes, we're so sorry. Also, they said, the manager wants to speak with you. When he gets in tomorrow, he's going to give you a refund of some sort. And so we ordered a cot. And so we had to double up the mattresses rather than our homophobic plan of splitting the king bed and both being in it.
Oh, my God.
And then we flipped a coin and I won the bed, thank God, because I was sore.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Lots
it
of
was
snow.
good skiing, though?
Yeah, lots of snow, and I got it down to way less than $25 a ride because we did a lot of vertical. We got a lot of skiing in both days.
How
Right
long did
shin
it
was
take you to
bleeding.
drive up there?
The drive was easy both ways because
Wow.
we went up. Well, I woke up at 3 a.m. I picked him up at 3. I woke up at 3:15. I picked him up at 4 o'clock in Sherman Oaks, and we had a drive. I mean, sunset was 3 hours into our drive, 2.5 hours into our drive, sunrise, and then we drove home on Saturday. So that was easy.
You must have been wiped driving home on Saturday.
Yeah, popped an Adderall. Hadn't had one of those in a long time. It worked.
You made it.
And
That's great.
we watched TV on the drive home. We watched True Detective. We
No,
watched
you
3
didn't.
episodes of True Detective.
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
Who was driving?
I watched all of Game of Thrones going to Burbank, and then when there was, I've told you this, it's surprising. It's kind of like old school radio, like radio show.
Yeah.
They're like, and now in the Queen's quarters, like once you establish where a scene is, you don't have to look that much. And,
Now, when I've been watching this recent season of True Detective, and I find myself actually looking away from the TV anyway.
I think it's the worst thing. One of the worst. First of all, okay.
It's horrible.
Okay, check me if I'm wrong. And apparently this latest episode, everyone's like, okay, they got me. Like, I might keep watching. But a zombie, right? I mean, is that the only thing it can be called? A dead guy who's been frozen and found and quartered off, and it's a crime scene, screams.
Yeah. No.
And then one of them goes missing, and they're working in a tiny town of like 1,000 people. And they continue working. Not only do they continue working on other cases, but they're like fucking their boss. And
Yeah.
there's a zombie missing.
There's a zombie missing, and it's as if it was a jaywalking offense. Nobody is reacting. There's no like CIA, NSA people coming to town, top scientists. It's all just like being in the hands of a local police department. It's absurd.
And I know what the writer would say. It's like, oh, yeah, you're saying, first of all these guys were killed. So how they became zombie. Okay, so that's gigantic. They're all out there frozen. They were terrified and killed before they froze to death, you learn. Anyway, so there's a zombie on the loose, right? So I know what the writer would say. The writer would be like, Yes, I see what you're saying. They are working on an old case of a missing girl. And, but that's going to be related. It's like, well, then fucking find a way for that to make sense, because that's not just why they don't know it's related.
Yeah.
They would have dropped this. I hate to use unintentional wordplay, but the cold case they would drop because it takes place in Alaska.
Yes.
It's a piece of shit.
It's a piece of shit, and it's a worse version of Alaska Daily, which our friend was in, which was a much better show on ABC about missing Alaskan women, indigenous women in Alaska.
Okay, get this, Greg.
Yeah.
I still haven't found the name of this comic strip that viewer, if you're listening, you sent it in, you were like, it's a Far Side. And I read one from it last week, and I clipped it out too tight, so I didn't see the title of it, and I can't find it. So what I decided to do is live. I went and Googled Family Circus, and I put on images, and I have just picked one, and I'm reading it, and I hate to say it, it's not bad. So I'm going not to show you, Greg. I'm just going to describe it, and I want you to guess the punchline.
Got it.
It's the dumb dad, right? He's sitting in a chair. The three kids are there. He's got the little baby. Then he's got the dumb redheaded boy,
Billy,
who's sitting on his lap,
Yeah.
and then the little girl. And it's and the book, you can see the cover, is the first Christmas, and you see the three wise men on their camels coming up to the manger, and the little girl comes up and points at the book, and she talks to the dad. Now, I could have you guess there, or I'll give you the beginning. She says to the dad, instead of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, and then she says her punchline.
Shouldn't they be bringing talcum powder?
You nailed it.
No.
I'll bet Mary wished they brought diapers.
Ah, there we go. I was going to say diapers next.
Oh, yours was more elegant, right? You
Yeah.
were going to mirror the
Yeah.
three gifts, right?
Yep.
Incense. Oh, except incense would stay the same. Because the little shitty, dirty Jesus with his shit all over his ass.
You joke now, my friend. One day you're going to be at the pearly gates, and St. Peter is going to just pull up a podcast to show Jesus Christ.
It's
The
not going to
doormat.
help. It's not going to help my case of avoiding hell when I'm like, why were you such dicks? Why is it such a dickhead God?
Yeah.
Literally, why all the suffering? He can control everything.
But really, like, Peter is the ultimate door guy. At the
Yeah, you
pearly
got to rub
gates.
his foot.
Yeah. All right, let's do a little Blondie. Fuckface is on the chair. He's got on a violet-colored sweater with the collar sticking out, and he's reading a book. It's always he's reading a book, and she's always reading a magazine. Like, she can't handle a book. And she goes, is that do-it-yourself book helpful? And he goes, absolutely. And then he goes, I'm more convinced than ever that we should hire someone to remodel our bathroom for us.
What?
I don't know. It's
Oh,
just
I see.
I literally don't even remember putting this in the script. But sometimes there's a week of Blondie comic strips that are Dagwood at the diner, Dagwood at work, Dagwood and Herb standing on the lawn, and this was literally the only one with the human being Blondie in the strip. And even though we only get her face on the third frame, it's worth it just to see it, just to brighten up my day. You can barely see her ankle. It's a beautiful ankle. And she's got on a light green shoe matching her sweater. And you just think, this guy, go fucking fix something. Earn her.
Screw something.
Screw something. You violets.
Meanwhile, she's reading a do-it-yourself magazine packed with vibrators.
Exactly. Yeah, hers is a sex manual.
Yeah.
Hers is a do-it-yourself sex manual.
Solo time forever.
That's funny. All right.
Meanwhile, the one up top that George drew, I thought Dick Tracy was grabbing you because you were pleasuring yourself because you were just with Blondie. That's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
I think that's why
possible.
you're in jail.
Yeah. I could see that. George is from Germany, so that's probably it, because they are some kinky bastards up there.
And now you're like Miggs in a prison cell with Hannibal coming by. Remember Miggs?
Yes.
That
Throwing it. Did he throw it at her, Miggs?
Yeah. He jerked off. He masturbated and then threw it and hit Clarice.
Yeah.
But when she was walking in. But I will say we, on the Ben Show, which was one of my favorite shows to ever work on in Comedy Central, a sketch show with Ben Hoffman, we wanted, and it was rejected by Comedy Central, we wanted to do an actor's studio with Miggs.
That's great.
With James Lipton, with
Yeah.
all the cue cards, just interviewing him about how he masturbated and how he got so accurate at throwing it.
All right,
Yeah.
listen, if that didn't make you lose your appetite, head to Factor Meals and get yourself 50% off
Yep.
when you use the code PAPERS50. Also, don't forget, we love when we have some fun over at Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/papers, and they'll do a first deposit match of up to $100.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thanks to Chris Denman. He was sharp today. He was full of fun factoids.
On it. And it's late there. It's late.
I know. So let's thank the rest of Midcoast Media for everything they do for us. And Mike, anything you want to... Oh, did I give my dates? I did. Anything you want to promote?
No, I don't think. No, I'll save it for the next time. But I'm proud. I send you the clip. A old meme came around that was popular when we were younger, and from my daughter. So I'll talk about that next week.
Great. All right. Well, thanks for listening, watching, however you process this, and we'll talk to you soon.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.
Like Dagwood needs Blondie and Hagar stole Helga. Like Kathy loves chocolate and the Lockhorns need couples therapy. I listen to Sunday papers every Sunday with Greg and Mike.